had my first baby the day that the world shut down, and I'm going to tell you the story because it's actually pretty insane. So back in March of 2020, I was due for my first child on March 17th. I was living an hour plus away from the hospital during the snowiest season in Wyoming. So if it snowed, they didn't care if you could get somewhere or not. They would just shut down the main road and we would be stuck. That was my excuse to get induced at 39 weeks, which was March 10th, 2020. So I was induced and he was born the same day. So he was born at night on March 10th. The next day, things started getting odd. My OBGYN was not coming in to check on me at all. Normally they come in at least once or twice, but we kept getting residents or nurses that were coming in his place. All they would tell us was that he was in meetings. And because you stay in the hospital for 24 hours after you have a baby, I actually stayed another night. I stayed from March 11th to March 12th. So that morning we were hoping to get out very early. We wanted to go home. We were kind of over being in the hospital, but the doctor still would not come in to look at me and the baby and to let us go. Then we heard on the intercom in the hospital, and all it said was, children under 12 are no longer allowed to visit. And this kind of made me a little curious because I was like, okay, this is weird. What actually is going on? The doctor finally got to us in like the early afternoon and we were able to leave. The nurse that came up to wheel me out of the hospital while my husband was getting the car was wearing a mask, which wasn't very weird at the time because we were in a hospital. All he said to me when I got in the wheelchair was, hold your baby close and try and cover his mouth if you can. This is rolling me out and he's on a rant as to why coronavirus is started by the Democrats, and I was already getting freaked out. We go down the elevator, and then when the elevator doors open, the hospital is completely empty. 2 people walking by with masks on, like regular people. Eventually, I'm getting wheeled out. I'm holding my baby. I'm 21 years old. I'm terrified. I'm getting wheeled out of the hospital, and they essentially say, okay, good luck. They weren't sure when I could come back. Well, on top of the whole isolation of coronavirus, COVID-19, I had a brand new baby right then, and I could not see my specialist for my thyroid. I couldn't go back to the OBGYN. It was all just shut down. So I'm so happy I got induced, because if I didn't and I waited until my due date, I don't know if my husband would be allowed to be in the room, because at that early on in time, they weren't even letting the husbands be in the room, and they were going to make you have to wear a mask while you were in labor. So I was very happy that I decided to get induced early, because I did avoid that.